Melania, Donald Trump's dark past, it's resurfacing in ways it's his worst nightmare. Donald Trump went to a club in Manhattan called the Kit Kat Club, where there were parties that were frequently thrown for very rich Manhattan elites, businessmen. How did Donald Trump meet Melania? On or around the same time he was best friends with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell.
The Russians just dropped a bombshell on live TV. Melania Trump's nude photos. But why now? And what does it have to do with her controversial visa, her parents' immigration, and her shaky 2024 campaign presence? You're about to see how this puzzle fits together, and the irony is staggering. Before we move on, I would like you to subscribe to the channel and like the video. When Donald first laid eyes on Melania, it wasn't at an ordinary mixer or some swanky charity gala. No, it was at the infamous Kit Kat Club in Manhattan, a hotspot for the city's ultra-elite, complete with flowing champagne, European models, and apparently, matchmaking billionaires. The club, known for its glitzy crowds and over-the-top indulgence, wasn't exactly the cradle of romance you'd expect for a future first couple. But that's where their story begins, or at least, the version that gets told publicly. The details, though? Well, they're more murky the deeper you dig. One man who played a key role in that first meeting was the Italian businessman and Trump-allied fixer Paolo Zampolli.
They were linked by someone named Paolo Zampolli, who's become an ambassador under Donald Trump, a high-ranking government official. Melania arrived in the United States from Slovenia in 1996 for modeling work, and then she obtained her green card around 2001 based on her extraordinary ability as a model. So Donald Trump meets Melania at the Kit Kat Club, and then they develop a relationship with each other, and then let's talk about what happened.
Picture Zampolli as a low-tier Gatsby, always hosting parties where wealthy men mingled with his imported model friends. He was the guy who introduced them, and some say orchestrated the whole thing like a chess player moving pieces on a board. Zampoli's circle of influence often overlapped with powerful players who needed a certain image to complete their public lives. So, was this a whirlwind fairy tale between an older New York mogul and a Slovenian model? Or was it something much more transactional? Melania's modeling career, for one, wasn't exactly skyrocketing at the time. Sure, she'd appeared in a few magazine shoots and ads, but she wasn't storming the high-fashion runways in Paris or Milan. Rumor has it she was among the many aspiring models whose visas were quietly arranged through influential patrons like Zampolli. That's where things get, let's say, a little more interesting. Zampolli didn't just introduce her to Trump, he allegedly helped with the necessary work visas too. Some folks have pointed to this as yet another sign of New York's rich lobby culture, where powerful friends could open the doors that talent alone might not. But hey, who needs Milan Fashion Week when the real prize is a golden penthouse on Fifth Avenue, right? Now here's where it gets juicier. You've probably heard about Melania's so-called Einstein visa. Officially known as the EB-1, it's meant for immigrants with extraordinary ability in their fields. Think Nobel Prize winners, world-class athletes, or leaders in science. And yet, Melania snagged one in the early 2000s. The question that's been following her ever since is, what exactly were her extraordinary achievements? Was it her appearances in Sports Illustrated? Those questionable early photo shoots involving very little clothing? Critics have asked these questions for years, but the answers have never been clear. Let's just say, the bar for exceptional talent seems to have gotten a little flexible when her application came through.
Melania was a model from Eastern Europe who was brought to the United States, who would attend these parties where the rich men would show up and mingle with the model. Melania's previously made posts about how proud she is of her nudes, but did you know that after Donald Trump and Melania met, she got what was called an Einstein visa? Right now, Russia, it's weaponizing Melania's past. I don't know if you know this, but on Russian TV, they frequently show Melania nude in order to mock Donald Trump.
But this is where the story takes another twist. Fast forward a few years, and we see Melania holding up her shiny new US citizenship papers. But she didn't stop there. Through what's often called chain migration, Melania sponsored her parents to come to the US as well, a legal process that became one of her husband's biggest political talking points against immigration. The irony is thick, but her path to citizenship and the benefits that followed raised just as many questions as her first meeting with Trump. Is it all a grand coincidence, or was everything, from the Kit Kat Club soiree to the White House, part of a larger plan? We're just getting started. Let's talk about chain migration, the same immigration process Trump labeled as a disaster every time he stepped on stage. He's blasted it as some kind of open door to endless immigrants, saying it weakens security and destroys jobs. It was one of his big talking points, right up there with building his infamous wall and locking Hillary up. But surprise, surprise, while Don was shouting about stopping the system, Melania was quietly using it. Her parents, Victor and Amalia Knavs, moved to the US thanks to her sponsorship. So while Trump was busy railing against the broken system, Melania went ahead and cashed her golden ticket, all within the legal framework her husband paints as this evil loophole. If irony had a face, this would be it. Speaking of headlines, maintaining this level of image control doesn't come cheap. Enter Pierre Broward, her personal stylist, who reportedly costs a cool $18,000 per month. That's more than a lot of Americans make in an entire year. Keeping up appearances has always been part of Melania's game plan, and if that price tag is anything to go by, she wants to look like $1 million every single time she steps out in public or posts a heavily curated photo. It's about creating a persona that screams unattainable perfection, even if that means burning through Trump's cash faster than he can tweet.
She was treated like a genius, an exceptional achievement visa that gave her a fast track to become a United States citizen. This is 1997. How sweet. Trump's Brit of all right. Just weeks after ditching his second wife, America's best-known billionaire Donald Trump has fallen under the spell of a 20-year-old English girl. This was before Melania, when he met London model Anuska DeGiorgio at a party in Manhattan. Several American millionaires already had their eyes on Anuska, but she was there with Robert Maxwell's daughter, Ghislaine.
Well, back when he could still tweet. But her image isn't only about fashion or overpriced stylists. She's no stranger to political manipulation either. Let's rewind to one of her most eyebrow-raising moments, her role in the Obama birther conspiracy. Yes, Melania was right there beside Donald, amplifying his baseless claims that Barack Obama wasn't born in the US. She didn't just nod along. She actively pushed the idea herself in interviews, asking, why hasn't he shown his birth certificate? Was she just parroting Trump's strategy, or did she genuinely believe in what she was saying? Either way, it spoke volumes about her willingness to throw herself into controversial waters if it served a purpose. It's almost like every move she makes, whether it's hyping conspiracy theories or designing NFTs, aligns with a bigger plan to stay relevant while keeping people guessing. So what ties all of this together? Simple: self-interest and image preservation. There's a pattern here. From sponsoring her parents' immigration while avoiding fallout from Trump's anti-immigration rants, to selling digital art that barely qualifies as effort, to milking controversy like it's a side hustle, it all points back to the same thing. Melania's public actions seem less about political alignment or personal conviction, and more about securing her place in a very specific echelon of celebrity. She's ridden the wave of Trump's presidency while quietly sidestepping his most chaotic moments, all while ensuring she profits from the name Trump, even if she has to keep it polished with $18,000 a month styling fees. But here's the real question. Is the icy, reserved public image Melania presents just a reflection of who she is, or is it a carefully crafted shield? With every move she makes, it's harder to tell what's genuine and what's part of the larger strategy. Her ability to lean on Trump's spotlight while carving out her own niche suggests she's not just a passive participant in this spectacle. If anything, she might be more calculated than the man who put Art of the Deal on the map. And as for her decision to stay notably absent from Trump's 2024 campaign trail, that might be her smartest move yet. Melania Trump's story feels like a perfectly scripted soap opera, with plot twists that always seem too calculated to be coincidence. From her controversial start in New York modeling circles to that suspiciously impressive Einstein visa and her use of chain migration to bring her parents to the US, every move adds another layer to the mystery. And now, as she steps back from Trump's 2024 campaign, the shift feels deliberate. Is this self-branding or the start of a Mar-a-Lago divorce special? Either way, Melania's absence screams one thing. Her priorities might no longer align with Trump's chaotic empire.